How do you reconcile your role as a national leader with these local critics, with other leaders?
I don't have a problem. The only problem, and it is my nature, ukikuja line yangu ndio, that is where the hell break loose. Or the loose break hell. Because what happens is very simple. If you do your role, MCA role is known, governor's role is known, senators, the people see me fighting, is I'm doing my job at the oversight. Because whenever I work to a project in Nandi and question, that is what people interpret as conflict. It's not conflict. It is my oversight as the senator.
I see you.
Anybody else, even you, if you are the senator, you are supposed to do oversight. It doesn't mean that Cherargei cannot do oversight. It is a constitutional duty. It is not about mapenzi, or I see people saying, oh, mukubaliane na governor, mufanye kazi na governor. How can you? There is no problem in working with the governor, but can you work by doing your job? Me, I bring the money, I oversight you. You implement the projects. That is kufanyia kazi raia.
Okay,
it is not about mapenzi.
Nimona Senator, you understand a lot about Trans Nzoia County.
Yes.
We have also seen you have been a vocal critic of Governor Sang.
Yes.
About mismanagement of funds.
Yes.
Can you tell us?
In fact, last year the members of County Assembly of Nandi were to let down, son. We in ad hoc report, because the MCAs of Nandi County did a perfect job. They did an ad hoc report on 6 billion. They tabled a report that showed that projects worth 6 billion for the last 7 years under Sang maladministration could not be accounted for. The report was supposed to be tabled. It was supposed to be debated and be voted. And that one should have triggered the impeachment of Sang out of office, including some of the senior county government officials. Unfortunately, the allegations we have is a number of MCAs were intimidated, blackmailed, and compromised. And that is, as the area senator of Nandi, and I want to explain because most of the people of Nandi are watching this. Under the constitution, the only people who can trigger an impeachment or a removal of a governor are members of county assembly. As they initiate. Then in the Senate, we confirm the charges of impeachment. The Senate is a trial chamber, like the way when we were removing the deputy president. The Senate comes in as a trial chamber. The confirmation of charges of removal starts from the MCAs at the county assembly. From all the county assemblies. So MCAs were Nandi, a number of them let us down by giving up, and yet I was waiting. I even used to tell my people, nimefika hapa Naivasha, because I was waiting, because the underperformance, corruption, poor governance that have been perpetuated by Governor Sang, he should have been impeached long time ago. For example, let me give you an example. You remember the payroll scandal?
Yes.
Where coast workers were found, close relative of him were found, a number of ghost workers, radio callers were found. It was in the public domain. Up to today, he himself as a governor has never held anybody responsible. Number one.
But they were suspended. Most of the workers.
But they are back.
Was suspended.
And in fact, the intelligence I have, watu wengine wamerudishwa chini ya maji. It is known in Nandi. Number one. Number two, the EACC, and I want to call out the EACC. They came with abracadabra, took the computers. It is now 6 months down the line. EACC has done nothing about that issue of employment or a payroll scandal in Nandi. And it was a fraud. The law is very clear. When you commit a fraud, you are supposed to be prosecuted. They are being paid under the patronage, and because, by the way, many people will ask, why the governor? Under the constitution, unlike the president, the governor has what we call executive powers, unlike the president. So the buck stops with the governor, because the information I have is a number of his close associates have been returned to the payroll. They have been reassigned many duties. The genuine employees were never returned. They are being told investigations are ongoing. And that is why I want to tell the EACC, without fear of contradiction, they should stop playing politics. Because we saw them going to try and arrest Kimani Wamatangi. They arrested him with 12 million.
Yes.
The abracadabra, they took him to EACC Integrity Center. They leave him with a bond of 30,000 shillings. So they are playing politics. When they came to Nandi, they came with media, they took computers. Up to now, not even a single person has been taken to court. And that is what now, that is why you had members of National Assembly, the likes of Junaid Mohammed and the rest, saying, why would we give counties money and there is corruption. It's because there is a weakling. And you know, by the way, many people will ask, let me answer, because I normally see in social media. They tell me, Senator, there are mistakes, what have you done? By the way, the only thing Senate and National Assembly or Parliament can do is to recommend. For example, when we found the issue of ECD, the scandal of ECD of the cement in the last time when Sang was still the governor, we recommended for investigation and prosecution by EACC and DCI. They have never done. Because Parliament does not have power to prosecute or arrest. So many people are confusing. You know, the work of Parliament is to recommend. We do the reports and ensure the recommend. And therefore, even when you go to Nandi, I am happy you are in Nandi today and you'll be there tomorrow. The roads are impassable. Bursaries are not there. You saw me visiting last year, Kapsabet County Referral Hospital. You still have the videos, you still have the pictures. It's filthy. There are no drugs.
What alternative solutions can you offer to this?
No, in fact, as I said, you can see, for example, even the dysfunctionality in the health sector. For example, there is a place called Koibem, so that I answer on alternatives, called Shiru. Shiru is in Thika.
Yes.
Koibem. So between Koibem dispensary and Shiru is only 1 kilometer. But when you walk across Vihiga, you get drugs and services. But when you walk back to Koibem in Chepkumia, you don't get drugs and services. I was in Chepkongon. I was in the other day, Maraba. I was in Chepterwai. The issue is there is no goodwill. And you know, Governor Sang has decided to leave the county at autopilot. You know, when you are flying a plane, especially for long hours, like 18 hours from here in Kenya to New York, at some point, when you have reached a certain altitude, you just autopilot and leave it to fly on it. So what Sang has done to Nandi County, he has just put an autopilot. You will only see him active in social functions, taking pictures and being in social media. That's all one of film roles. You will get him active in film roles. You will get him parading himself in weddings. But you will never get him in his office. I can tell you the last time he was in office is 6 months ago. He will only walk to the office, take pictures. I'm sure I can evidence. He can come, take a picture with you, post and disappear. He will never sit in office. If you ask him about any projects of this county, he will never tell you about it. Because he's no longer interested in transforming Nandi.
So the ministers are the ones.
And even look at the Kabiet diaries. He lied to the people of Nandi that it was being funded by county government of Nandi. Apparently, it was being funded through World Bank and donor funders. And I can tell you, up to today, if you want to know there is a big corruption in Nandi, up to today, Kabiet diaries, which should be functional 2 years ago, the money that Kabiet diaries has taken is over 700 million. And yet, it has not even packaged a 50 or a 10 milliliters of milk in that property. Yet you know very well, to develop a factory, you should not consume more than 300 million. So what Kabiet Dairies has taken 4 factories in one. Most of these projects that are, even when you go to Chepterwai Hospital, that project has told. When you go to mother and baby unit, the project was supposed to consume around 400 million. Now it is approaching 600 million. The variation was done without following the law. You go to mother and baby unit in Kapsabet town. You go to Kapsengere dispensary, it has told. You go to even the hospital. God forbid if Sang gets sick. His hospital just opposite Kobuja has told. That hospital should have been completed like 1 to 2 years ago. The money has consumed close to more than 50 million. There is nothing to show for it. But when you look at as I conclude, when you look at financial year of 2023-2024, he has done Kahaya of 42 million. Kahaya services. County vehicles. Yet during Governor Lagat era in 2013, we had bought vehicles. And surprisingly, when you walk to these garages in Kapsabet, in Eldoret, there are vehicles, but the only issue is to service them.
So
but he decides
to using hired vehicles.
I can invite you the auditor. I will send you the copy of Auditor General report. Yes. So he has hired 42 million worth. Number 2, he has paid lawyers 13 million. It was even in the headline in one of the local dailies. So why use money to lawyers 13 million? 42 million for car hire. Do we need car hire? We don't. If vehicles, you know him, for example,
Who are
him, I
using
was
these
surprised. Him.
Inside.
A number of them is being used by senior county officials. For example, him is outside 35 vehicles.
Hired.
Today, when he was in Kapsabet town,
Yes.
he was traveling in 3 vehicles.
Okay.
Because this guy runs away from the people, he comes to a function with 3 to 4 vehicles. What he will do, because ataki raia nini, the vehicle is coming with, he will use a different one.
Okay.
So anaweza ingia na hii gari, and this car I hired with private civilian numbers. Ujawahi jiuliza, all governors use, if for example Nandi should be GVN 029A, Sang does not use, because he doesn't want to be seen.
Now that anakuja na hizi magari zote, nani anakuanga kwa hizi magari?
That is why I'm saying, kwa hizi magari zote anakuja, one is ndiye ajifiche kwa raia. Sasa ile anaenda na ingine ndio watu wasimsimamishe kwa barabara. Number 1, number 2, unatakana kujua hizi magari ni civilian number plates. Therefore car hire.
Okay.
Number 3 ni all the fuel. Ile magari yote inatumia ni sisi county government ndio inainka. Kwa hizi magari zote yeye anatumia, na of course ako na vitu zake, anafanya mambo yake huko ndani anabeba watu yake, anajua hiyo maneno. Sitaki kuanika yeye hapa, anajua hiyo maneno. Anajua yeye peke yake, kuna wageni anatembeanga nao kwa hizi magari. So the point I'm trying to make is that these lagis, the intention of devolution was not to create mini goats. Haikutakana kuunda miungu. So the problem, we are fighting for money. That is why members of National Assembly wanauliza mbona tuchukue pesa county, kesho tukienda saile tunatetea pesa huko Nairobi. My colleagues will ask me, why would you give you money governor kwenda kukomboa magari for 42 million in one financial year? Because mismanagement and objectives. The way forward is 2 years imebaki. The way forward is 1, EACC wafanye kazi yao. As a Senate, we have tried our best. Okay. On many occasions, we have seen Sang appearing before the Senate. We have made recommendations for prosecution. We have made recommendations removal. Personally, I have had a chit-chat with a number of Nandi County MCAs that they should put their foot down and assist us in holding this. But it looks like they are being intimidated, they are being blackmailed, and they are being compromised. Yeah. The final point is, what are the alternative solutions is also, apart from EACC doing their job, is the control of budget. Okay. Because what is happening in these countries is voiding of payment. Where you get, and I've seen Nandi voided payments almost 800 million. You know what happens in voiding of payments? Whenever they do to control our budget, they go and get the money to pay Collins. But they end up paying Cherargei. That is what we call voiding of payments. Okay. And that is what we are telling control of budget before he approves county requisitions. They must investigate where this money is being paid, which service, the purpose and the intention. So control of budget must assist us. Number 3 is the office of the Auditor General, which is mandated under Article 229 of the Constitution 2010. They must be vigilant whenever they are coming to do audit. And we have had, because I have been a vice chair of county public accounts up to the other day. We said, and we told auditor, and I'm happy Nancy Gatungo has been very engaged if they have liaison officers in parliament. We told them, we don't want you to audit only financial statements. We don't want you to audit lawfulness and effectiveness. We want you to audit status of the projects. Because the problem we had with the OAG is that they bring literature of lawfulness and effectiveness and also financial statements that they table, but they don't tell us what is the status of projects, for example, in Uasin Gishu. So, for example, every financial year, as I conclude, is in every budget that MCS of Nandi pass of 8 billion, which there is equitable shareable revenue, there is conditional grants, there are loans from World Bank, and then there is own source revenue. And Nandi tuko na shida sana, unajua tuko na eka mingi ya chai hapo Kiborgok, a lot of acres, but you hear them declaring 17 million. Tuko na Kaimosi FTC, wanauza miti yetu, wanauza maziwa, wanauza ndama, but they never declare. Okay, so when, for example, 10 billion ikiletwa Nandi County Assembly, they budget for projects. So tumeambia Office of the Auditor General, raia hawezi elewa financial statements, raia hawezi elewa mambo ya lawfulness and effectiveness, hawezi elewa risk assessment. What you do, we have told them, apart from IT audit, forensic audit, which we are encouraging. The aspect is that fanya project status. Tunataka tukujue kwa mfano Kabie Dairies ilikuwa pesa ngapi? How long should it have taken? When was it supposed to be completed? You know, when a project is not completed in time, you will not get value for your money because inflation will be there. The final one is forensic audit. Forensic audit is you do with the view of prosecution. We have told OAG, mukipata project na muna suspect hii project imekulwa, do forensic audit, do a recommendation to DCI, the EACC takes up the matter and culprits are prosecuted. The final weapon that we have told OAG to do is special audit. And I have even recommended to OAG that they must do special audit on major projects of Governor Sang because those are conduits of corruption like Mother and Baby, Chepterwai Hospital, Kobujai Hospital, Kapsengere Hospital, the one of Kabie Dairies, and a number even is office of the governor. You remember it has told the residents of the governor. They must do audit. So we do what we call special audit to present a report. When we get that special audit, they can even do in national projects. Then that report is being used to prosecute and implicate people. So those are the alternative solutions that we can make sure devolution works. But as long as governors of this country will continue to perpetuate corruption. Like for example, I saw here in Nairobi, Governor Sakaja was doing a project called Dish in Accounting. But when you look how the corruption is being done, parents are being told you pay 20 shillings for every child that you feed. But you don't see, you cannot walk to the governor's office and get the breakdown or accountability of the money. Okay. Like for example, Irungu Kangata, as I conclude, so that we want also to be fair. There are governors who work and those who, for example, Irungu Kangata you saw him, he bought a mobile dialysis machine. Yes. He's doing a good job. Yes. You saw him distributing fertilizer and seeds. You saw Mutula Kilonzo Jr. is doing factories. They are packaging mango juice. They are doing public participation up to the village level. There are governors who are doing something.
There is, Senator, there is speculation that you may run for governor in the next election. What factors will influence your decision? Will you be vying for governor?
No, even Jesus Christ say you cannot serve two masters. We still have 2 to 3 years before the next general elections. And we'll cross that bridge when we reach there. I think my focus now, to be fair, it's not also fair to my people from Nandi and Kenyans to be elected in a seat and start campaigning for another. And that is what has killed this country. You get somebody elected today, the following day is campaigning for another seat. I think my singular focus is to deliver as the senator of the Republic of Kenya elected from Nandi County. When I have delivered on my track record and I have my report card, it is the great people of Nandi who will decide on my future in terms of leadership in Nandi. And I want to assure you, when a decision will be made, I'll be back on this show when we read that and we will say it. Because, for example, I know the challenges that face Nandi County. Having privilege and honor, serving as the senator of Nandi, I know challenges that Nandi faces. I know how it can be fixed. I know what needs to be done. So I can assure you, my singular focus is to deliver on the people of Nandi and assist President William Ruto in terms of delivering on development agenda of this country.
Talking of delivering, you have been ranked as a top performing senator by Mzalendo. What do you consider your most significant achievement during your tenure?
I don't know what we will do as parliamentarians, and I think that's the reason members of National Assembly don't want to lose CDF. Because it's CDF that will see you are doing something at Mashinani. Okay. I think Kenyans should understand the role of parliament senators. Us is to represent legislation.